Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm a very, very tired, aka Heather Joy here, and this is the Lifeboat. Welcome, everybody. I am very tired, as I said. I'm not going to go through the intro today. Sorry. You guys know it by heart at this point, I am sure. But welcome, everybody. And Charlie, I hope uh, the scan goes well. I hope they can find out what's going on, and I hope it's an easy fix. Praying for you. That's not fun. But good morning, everybody. I know I've gone over some of this stuff before, but Tommy was talking last night about taking better care of yourself, proper nutrition, things like that. So I wanted to go a little bit deeper into that because I've actually been teaching this. And unfortunately, I don't know. I haven't taught my class in 6, 7 months, and I don't know where all of my notes and things are right now. So I made some notes. I'm kind of just winging it, but you may want to take some notes. Yeah. Anyway, uh, as addicts, when we are in active addiction, that, our drug of choice, that is the most important thing. Uh, Proper hydration, proper nutrition, all of the things that are really important to be healthy, are flung right out the window. And very often, too, the substances that we are putting into our bodies over and over and over again are leaching our bodies of vital nutrients. You see people that are methamphetamine addicts, and you see what it does to their teeth. It leaches all of those minerals and things right out of them. And it rots them. It rots them from the inside out, from the outside as well. They're so acidic. It's just, ooh, but every drug that you put in your body is going to do something to you. It's going to, and over time, it's definitely going to have an effect on your body, your system, your organ systems, your brain, especially. It all has a lot of effects. So when you are trying to become sober, you're not going to feel well at first. It's going to take some time. Uh, Boy, sorry guys. I've had so little sleep, maybe an hour and a half in the last 48 hours, and I am just not working right here. I'm trying. I apologize. Anyway, when you first become sober, it's really important that you pay attention to your nutrition. It's really important that you get, the protein and all of the vital nutrients that your body needs, to be able to repair things, be able to start feeling well again and thinking well again. Uh, Really important. And so I'm going to spend most of my time talking about nutrition today, because it is really important. And I've always tried to keep this rule, the KISS rule: keep it simple, stupid. I have to remind myself of that, and not to get too worried about amounts and levels and too many supplements and things, because really, what you put in your mouth, what you drink, what you eat, it is either, sustaining your life, or it's taking away from your life. It basically, it's helping, or in a way it's a type of poison. It just depends on what you're putting in there. uh, and I'm always appalled at the failure of our education system, as far as teaching kids when they're in school about proper nutrition. It blows my mind, because My grandmother was very knowledgeable about proper nutrition. Actually, both of my grandmothers were. My mother was, I grew up on a farm. We were really poor, but we ate well. We didn't have fast food. We didn't have processed foods. We ate a lot of what we grew. And, we had well water, that wasn't fluoridated. And, I had ideal situation growing up. Because I had whole clean foods. They were all organic. We didn't use pesticides. We didn't even think about it. We put manure in the garden for fertilizer. It was anyway. I had an ideal situation growing up, but I also I paid attention in school to you know proper nutrition in health class and in science and in biology and in chemistry. I really paid attention, and I'm just blown away um, how many people today don't have what to me was just very simple common knowledge. And yeah, it amazes me. It's kind of sad because if you don't have your health, oh boy, life gets very difficult. It really does. So, and I want to just talk about specifically about boosting your immunity today. You can do so much of that just with what you're eating. I've been concerned. We had gosh, how do I even, what do I even call it? The big C virus that went around. I probably blew it just by saying virus, but anyway, we went through the whole pandemic and everything, and I really did a deep dive, on the things that I can do to boost my immune system, because my husband and we didn't receive the jab. We didn't want anything to do with it. I have so many health issues as is that putting something that was, had not been tested, had not been given enough time, in research and trials and things. So I didn't want anything to do with it. And so we just, we did a lot of things. Both my husband and I did a lot of deep dives to try to find what we can do, to keep ourselves healthy. And uh, I don't think my husband ever had it. I got it once and it wasn't bad. I didn't, a lot of my friends and neighbors ended up losing their sense of taste and sense of smell and everything. But yeah, it didn't bother me. And I'm pretty sure it was just because of the foods we were eating and the few supplements that we do take. I think that helped a lot. But there were a lot of other, there's a lot of things we did too, but we came out of it really well. But I'm concerned now because of that virus that Tommy was speaking of the other day. That was the first I had heard of it, where people in higher elevations over in Europe right now are really having a hard time with their respiratory systems. And so that really concerns me. And with addicts, with our bodies depleted of these vital nutrients and things, your immune system is going to be very low. And if it ends up coming over here, which I don't see how it can't not come over here, we need to be ready to be able, we need to supply our bodies with what they need to fight it off. So I know the first thing I always say, in trying to boost your immunity is just to eat well. And I want you to remember that, food is medicine, and it really does matter what you are eating, what you're putting in your mouth. If food as medicine, it does take a long time. It's not like you can just pop a pill and you can have an acute response. Food, it's a slow thing, but it's a longer lasting thing as far as your health and immunity. So I just want to go over a bunch of things that I have learned over the years. I didn't learn this in nursing school. They didn't teach us anything about nutrition, and that's another thing I'm appalled at, uh, the way a lot of doctors and nurses are trained, because they just don't get nutrition. They don't get the education they need on it. It's kind of scary. Anyhow, The first thing I always talk about is, try to, well, oh no, wait a minute, moderation. That's the first thing you want. Just remember moderation in everything. You need to have a good relationship with food. So I don't think that, I mean, it's important that you try to cut way down on sugars, especially, things like corn syrup, refined sugar, things like that. You really want to keep that down, but I don't think that I think you can splurge every once in a while. Like I said, you still need to have a good relationship with food. You still need to treat yourself once in a while. Uh, but it's a good rule, to avoid the simple sugars, and those are in everything now. I can't believe, it's in tomato soup and spaghetti sauce and bread, and it's in everything. I mean, there's so many foods now that it doesn't need to be there, and it didn't used to be there, but it is now. So that's something you have to look out for. And hello, kitty. um White bread and pastas, which I love, when you eat them and your body breaks them down, it breaks them down into sugar, and it really spikes your glucose levels in your blood. It's just like sugar in the end. So that's another thing that it's a good idea to keep the amounts of bread and pasta, down, because that really does spike your blood sugar. It's really good. I Lots of fruits and vegetables. It's so important, especially when you're just trying to get sober. This is where so many nutrients that your body really needs, that's where you're going to find them. I am troubled about the fact that, over the soil that um, gets depleted, with when our food is grown, if you don't replace it with the proper levels of magnesium and nitrogen and what else? Anyway, if you're not putting those nutrients back into the soil, you're not going to have them in the food. And I was reading an article a couple of years ago, and it was just saying how the nutrients that are in a potato today, there's about 40% less of the nutrients in it than years ago. And that's because, the soil gets depleted over time. So that troubles me, because, as addicts, we really need to put all of these good things back into our bodies. And if it's not in your food, you've got to possibly think of, a multivitamin or something like that. But lots of fresh fruits and vegetables. That's so important. And I know that's kind of hard right now. Things are so expensive. It's a little disturbing right now. And it's kind of hard to eat properly right now for a lot of people. Um, it's really good idea when it's possible, to have whole foods, not processed foods. What I mean by whole foods is things like take a sweet potato. All you have to do is cook it. I mean, you really don't have to process it. You don't have to do a whole lot to it. You want to keep it, you want to cook it so you can eat it, but you want to keep it as close to the form that it comes in as possible. And it's really important to, do your own cooking. If you are buying things, frozen meals and canned meals and highly processed things that come in boxes, a lot of that stuff, as it's being processed, there's a lot of additives put in it, sugars, and lots of amounts of sodium, things that you really don't want to put in your body. And while it's being processed, a lot of the nutrients are stripped from it, and fast food too. I mean, I see a problem with having a cheeseburger and some fries every once in a while. It just tastes really good. But every day, no, that's not a good idea. And a lot of people get stuck in uh, eating fast food and processed food because it is so void of the nutrients that you need. Your body tells you just to keep eating more and more and more because it's just trying to get the nutrients and it's not finding them in the food that you're eating. So it's just telling you to eat more, and it really can pack on weight, but you're not getting the nutrients that you need. So it's a pain in the butt, but my husband and I just cook everything at home. The only time we ever eat out is when we're traveling anymore. And it's a pain in the butt. It takes time and you got to do all the dishes. But think about this, as far as your nutrition and what your body needs, it's pay me now or pay me later. If you give your body what you need now and you do that consistently, you're going to avoid a lot of the long-term health effects that you might end up with later. If you're not taking care of yourself now, you're going to pay for it later with all kinds of medical bills and medical issues and hospital stays and things like that. So, just think about it that way. It's pay me now or pay me later. Uh, as far as, when you purchase your produce, I don't worry too much about buying organic. It's so much more expensive, and very often I notice it looks really sad. Um, but it's a good rule of thumb when you're buying produce. If you can take the jacket that it comes in, if you can take the jacket off, if you can peel a banana, if you can peel a potato, something like that, then you really don't need to worry too much about organic because the pesticides and the things that they are sprayed on it, you can take off. You can also, it's a good idea. I do this a lot as well when I buy produce, bring it home, fill the sink up with water and put some apple cider vinegar in it, and then just dump all the produce in there and just let it soak. The apple cider vinegar takes off a lot of the pesticides and things that you really don't want to put in your body. That gets rid of a lot of them. And as far as like strawberries, blueberries, things like that, the apple cider vinegar tends to preserve them, keep them fresher longer. So that's a good idea to do that. Also, really important. It's really important that you eat seasonally. So whatever foods are in season right now, it's amazing how God has set up this world because, the foods that are in season right now are going to prepare you for the season that's coming. And so, summer is going to be coming on. And right now, I was just noticing all of the berries. Like I was able to buy a bunch of boxes of berries for like $2 each. So, they're in season right now. I know, especially down in California, and those prepare your body to handle the heat. Also eating a lot of hot stuff. So Johnny hears this. Yeah, you're prepared to handle summer quite well. But I know in the fall, when it's harvest time and there are lots of squash, potatoes, root vegetables and things, eating those things while they're in season helps your body to take on the winter. And it's also amazing to me how eat what is easily grown in your area. I know in the South, peppers, the heat, those kind of peppers grow very well. And down in the South, there's a big problem with parasites. And, I'm just amazed, that God sets the world up so that, what surrounds you is going to help you, whether it's herbs and plants and different kinds or it's foods. But I know here where I live, elderberries are grown very easily, blackberries, things like that. So I know that for the area where I live, eating those things is going to benefit me. So, pay attention to where you are and what grows around you, because it's there for you. And it's going to help you, and help your body cope with everything where you're living. I hope that's making sense. Um, One thing I noticed that grows very prolifically around here is, oh boy, mullein. And that is a wonderful plant. I really love that. It's anti-inflammatory. It helps with pain, everything. And it grows all over the place. I don't have to grow it in my garden. I can just go out and find it and harvest the leaves. The same thing, a brigham tea grows around here too, and that helps with allergies, things like that. So yeah, pay attention to where you're living and what is around you, because it's there for you and it's going to help you. uh let's see, really need to pay good attention to um putting some good quality proteins in your body. And I know that's probably an issue for a lot of people right now too, because of the prices. But your body has got to have protein to repair itself and build itself and keep itself functioning. Well, you've got to have the protein too. And there are certain nutrients in meat that you are very difficult to get anywhere else. And I actually I read an article yesterday, and it really caught my eye, because it said, scientists prove that eating meat is essential to your body's health. And I was like, wow, vegans and vegetarians are not going to want to hear that. But I thought it was kind of cool that I read that. Eggs. My husband and I are really blessed that way. We have a chicken farm, and we have the best eggs. We don't put any antibiotics or nasty things like that in there, and we let them free range. So they're eating bugs and they're eating plants, and it really makes their eggs nice. My husband also ferments grains and feeds them, and they love it. It makes our eggs very rich, and our eggs have, the yolks are not yellow, they are a nice dark orange, and they taste really nice. And I love to have that source of protein. It's always here, and we did that. We decided to get chickens for that purpose, so we would, despite what is going on around us in our economy and what's available, we're always hopefully going to have a source of protein from them. But if you can find somebody who has a chicken farm and just backyard chickens kind of thing, or something like that, if you can buy eggs from them, do it. They're a lot better for you than what you're going to buy in the grocery store. Let's see. Oh yeah, as far as if you like to eat rice, you've got to have your fruits and vegetables, your meats, but you've got to have the carbohydrates too. If you eat rice, where rice is grown, there's a big problem with arsenic in the ground, and it's going to be in the rice. There's this I don't even know what to call it now. Plants and animals, the things that they take into them to grow. If there are, well, like with rice, there's arsenic in the ground. Nature tends to, it's called biomagnification. If it takes it up, from the ground into the rice, it amplifies it. It magnifies it. It's not good. So if you like to eat rice, it's really important to first soak it in water for a couple of hours, and then wash it really well before you cook it. Or you can parboil it for 5 minutes too, and that helps remove the arsenic and things that you don't want to put in your body. And especially if you eat a lot of rice, you really should pay attention to that. You don't want levels of arsenic building up in your body. You don't want it. It does happen naturally. here and there, but pay attention to the rice because you really don't want that much in your body. And okay, fats. I remember in the 90s, they were really pushing, low fat or no fat items, and um, to make something taste good, if you've got some fat in it, of course it's going to taste better. So all of the products that they were putting out in the 90s were, no fat or low fat, and in order, to still make them taste good and make them so people actually wanted to buy them, they would put a ton of sugar and salt to make up for it and, make it taste good. And it really has packed on pounds for people. It's not a good idea. You need fat. You really do. It gives you the satiety, so you're not constantly hungry. Uh, your body needs fats. There's a lot of nutrients that you put into your body that are only fat soluble. So fats are important. It's a good idea to eat lean meats, but I don't worry about fats anymore like I used to. But what I do worry about is the type of fats. As far as cooking, olive oil is ideal. Uh, you really want to stay away from soy oil, safflower oil, grapeseed oil. Oh, that's not good. That is not good at all. Really, extra virgin olive oil is ideal. Also, butter, um, or ghee, cooking with those, that's good. And if you can afford it, purchasing butter that comes from cows that are raised on grass fed rather than corn fed, that's so much better for you as well. But I know that gets expensive. But you don't put margarine in your body. Ooh, that is bad. Don't do that. um, Also, I was going to tell you, as far as deep fried foods, like if you go and get French fries or English chips or something somewhere like that, most likely it's safflower or soy that they're frying them in, and that can really ramp up your inflammation levels. So you can get very achy and sore and hurt. And I notice that sometimes with my fibromyalgia. If I do splurge a little bit and I eat something deep fried, I usually feel it the next day. So I tend to avoid it anymore. But once in a while, it's okay. Like I said, moderation in everything. Um, another thing you need to watch, especially if you are struggling with high blood pressure, is your sodium. And, for me, that's something I don't worry about. I have to, I take salt capsules and put salt in my water a lot of the time, just because I run and I sweat it out and I need to replace it. But for a lot of people, you need to watch it. And there are a lot of, especially highly processed foods and fast foods, have a buttload of sodium in them. Also, energy drinks have a ton of sodium in them. So you need to watch that, and that's really not good for you. And I really, I know the energy drinks once in a while are necessary. If you've got to drive a long distance or you've got a late night shift and you've got to stay awake, I understand that, but it's really hard on your body. It really is. It takes so long for your kidneys to flush out all of the crap that you put in your body when you drink energy drinks, and really try to avoid those. You really want to try to avoid too much caffeine. 2 or 3 cups of coffee a day, that's not bad. But you need to be mindful of that. And also artificial sweeteners. If you're going to have a soda, um just have the full sugar, and try to find, if you're going to have a soda drink, something that is made with cane sugar, not the corn syrup, which is in most things. Corn is a problem, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But you want to not drink too much soda as well. First of all, for if there's caffeine in it, but also because the phosphoric acid in soda will leach the calcium out of your bones. And if you're a postmenopausal woman like I am, that can be a problem. Your bones tend to start to lose their density, and soda pop, yeah. Well, it doesn't help, and also um, your immune response as far as fighting off viruses and bacteria, things like that. Soda really suppresses that. Um, I can't remember. Wow, I don't remember anymore, but I know. I used to know how many hours it would really suppress it after you drink a soda. So again, just moderation in all things, and really try to avoid the diet stuff, because those artificial sweeteners, they are not good for you. And I just read the other day, something that I don't remember now, that I didn't have time to read the article, but erythritol, that a lot of people have been using that as a sugar replacement, and I didn't realize how it is produced. It is from fermented corn, and I call it Frankencorn, because Monsanto has ruined our food. They've changed it. They've changed the whole matrix of it. Um, it's Frankencorn, and corn it's not what it used to be, and it is a problem. It's not good for you, and I would try to avoid too much corn when all possible. It's just it's they've changed it, and then corn, when the wind blows too, it just spreads. Even if you think you have um what is it called, a non-GMO, like a, what do they call it, starts with an H. Anyway, I apologize. I'm tired, guys. But even if you think you have a non-GMO type of corn, it is very hard for the pollen not to be blown around from state to state, and it spreads that GMO into everything else. It's the same. I think that's what's happening to our wheat source, and I believe that's why so many people have issues with gluten now when they never used to. Our food has been changed, and not for the better. It makes it more difficult for our bodies to extract the nutrients from them. So anyway, yeah, avoid erythritol. There was a study out, and I don't remember what it was doing, but it was doing something bad to the body. I don't remember. Like I said, I didn't have time to really read the article. Also, I didn't bring it, but as far as salt, that you use to season your food, I highly recommend Redmond salt. There's an ancient, I guess it was taught, yeah, it was in chat last night. I was talking about that with some of you. There's this ancient sea salt mine about 25 miles north of me, and they have the best salt. It honestly has the best taste. It has a red tint to it, and it has so many micronutrients, things like boron and copper, that I don't know where else. It's hard to get them anywhere else, but I highly recommend using that salt. It's good stuff. Himalayan salt is better than just the regular old white salt, but that Redmond salt has way more nutrients in it than Himalayan salt. It's very good stuff. Um, let's see. Okay, I talked about breads and pasta. Okay. Talked about GMOs. Okay. Also, okay. Talked about grain. Let's see. Told you about the meat. Okay. If you are vegan or vegetarian, do your research. It's going to be very difficult for you to get all the nutrients and the protein that you need. Seriously, dig and do your research. If that's how you eat, make sure that you are getting everything that you need. It's a lot easier, honestly. It's a lot easier to get a lot of the things from animal products. Milk, cheese, eggs, meat, things like that. Also, where did I hear it? I believe it was on a Joe Rogan podcast. I don't remember who he was talking to, but cooking also, they really turned away from it for a long time, but cooking things with animal fat, beef tallow, um, it's really not bad for you. It's really not. And they were talking about all of the research, and I wish I'd paid better attention to it. But yeah, as far as the cooking fats, like I said, olive oil, really good. Some beef tallow, that's also very good. Sometimes I use our bacon grease and put it in biscuits. I don't do it very often, but again, moderation. But that's good stuff. I also have a list here of foods that really boost your immune system. Almonds and nuts in general are good. Cooked red pepper, dark chocolate, if you like that. I don't, but unless it's Belgian chocolate. Belgian dark chocolate I can stand because it's not bitter. But anyway, garlic, very good one. Oranges in particular, but citrus fruits. Olive oil is definitely beneficial. Green tea, cooked mushrooms. Ooh, those are good, especially on a nice ribeye. Pickles, black beans, sweet potatoes, beets. Oh my goodness, sweet potatoes and beets. If you eat those every day for a few weeks, when you're trying to get sober, I promise you, you are going to feel better. Those are so healing to your body. Seriously. Cooked spinach, another very good one. Sardines are very good. I can't do it, but those really do boost your immune system. There's so many, the calcium and the omega-3s in that, very good for you. Um, and they're oily too. The oils from oily fish are very beneficial to your body. So, again, sardines and salmon and tuna. Um, I do worry somewhat about the radiation that's in the ocean from Fukushima, and the high levels of mercury that are now in the oceans. Those, again, was telling you about biomagnification. The fish eat what is around them, and it's going to magnify, the bad things, and things like mercury, things like that. It's going to be in the meat. So it was what was I using? Boy, guys, I'm brain dead. What was I using? There's something you could. Oh, red. I was telling you about the Redmond salt. They're bentonite clay that can help pull some of that stuff out of your body. So if you eat a lot of fish, you're going to get the benefits, but you need to be mindful of what might be in it as well, and make sure that you do something to try to remove some of those toxins and things that are in them. Okay, let's see. Tomatoes are another good one. Apple cider vinegar is very good for your immune system, and fermented foods, because of the lactobacillus in them. That probiotic is very good for you. Um, let's see. What else have I need to talk about? Oh, okay. Quinoa. That's a really good grain to eat, and it is a complete protein. And I believe lentils are as well. So you can get complete proteins from those. Um, Another thing that is really healthy to eat, oat groats. These are just whole oats. Cooking those up, a little bit of maple syrup in it. Oh, very good. Um, and still cut oats too. Oat groats and still cut oats, if you eat those in the morning, along with a good protein source, you're going to feel better. You're going to have a sustained level of energy, because it takes time for your body to digest that, and it gives you a constant, steady energy. let's see here. Sprouting things those are very good, especially broccoli sprouts. They have a nutrient in them called sulforaphane, and it is extremely beneficial to your body, and it helps fight cancers before they get started. Very, very healthy for you. Dark leafy greens, really good. Cauliflower and broccoli and avocados, guys. Avocados. It's a very healthy fat, and it just has so many essential nutrients in it, and it's so good. It helps with your brain. It really helps give your brain what it needs. And I know people that have had brain injuries, like Tommy and I. We've both experienced some significant brain injuries, and it makes it more difficult for your brain to receive the nutrients that it needs. So it's really important to eat well if you have had a bad head injury. Let's see. I talked about all of that. Oh, I did want to tell you also, if you enjoy having, coffee or tea first thing in the morning, green tea again is very good. There are some benefits with coffee, but consider cacao. I'm trying to remember, what is it called? I have it in the other room. Creo brew. Just dropped my pen. Creo brew. It's chocolate basically, and you can brew it just like coffee. And I just put it in a French press, and instead of water, I use milk. Yeah, it's really good. And the what is it in there it's better than caffeine? It starts with a T. I can't remember what it's called, guys. But consider trying that. It is very good. And there's something in it instead of caffeine, but it has the same effect, but it's more sustained. You don't crash. And there are a lot of other good antioxidants, all kinds of good stuff in Creo brew, the cacao with good stuff. Also, if you just buy cacao powder, mix that in with some hot milk and just a little bit of sugar. Those are really good stuff too. Really nice hot chocolate. But there's so many benefits in cacao. Oh, whoops! I need to look at that. Okay, because our food just doesn't contain as many nutrients as it once did, and because in addiction you're not paying attention to what your body needs, you're going to be depleted. It's going to take time to give your body the nutrition that it needs, and you might want to consider supplements. And there are some things that my husband and I both take as far as supplements, because we know we just can't get everything that we need in our food anymore. And my top one is magnesium. Most Americans are magnesium deficient. So that's a good one to take. And it's also, there's different forms of magnesium. There's magnesium oxide is the most common. And there's citrate. I don't remember, there's a couple of others that are very good for your muscles, but they tend to be more expensive as well. I usually use the citrate because it's also got some good cardiac benefits to it. The others that I take every day are D3 and K2. Our bodies can make its own vitamin D with the sunshine, but basically you've got to be outside in a bikini in the sun near the equator for your body to actually get enough sun to produce the D3 that you need. So it's important that you supplement your D3, because that is very helpful to your immune system. As far as amounts, at the moment I am taking, 20,000 individual units of D3, and for every 10,000 individual units of D3, you want to take, 100 micrograms of K2 along with it, because Um, with vitamin D3, sometimes if you have too much, it can create some calcium toxicity in your body. And the K2 prevents that. And it also helps the calcium get into the muscles and the bones where it's needed. So D3 and K2. And if you're taking them in a powder form, then you need to take them with food because they are fat soluble. But you can purchase them in the little gel capsule things that are the oil. That's a good way to get them as well. Another one that I take every day are my omega-3s. Those are very good for your heart, for your brain, and they're anti-inflammatory. You might consider, taking a multivitamin. Uh, let's see, vitamin C is very good for your immune system. That and zinc. And as far as vitamin C, I just try to take a lot of it, especially when I start to get sick, because you can't overdose on vitamin C. If you have too much, your body just eliminates it very easily. Also, elderberry syrup. Um, Elderberry syrup is very, very good for your immune system. It tends to calm it down. A lot of times, if you are under a lot of stress, um, your immune system gets overstimulated and you want it to calm down a little bit. And elderberry is very good for it. It calms it down so that it's ready to fight off anything. Um, Echinacea is also good for your immune system, but only when you are in an acute phase of an illness, because it really does give it a boost, but both of those are beneficial. But I really push elderberry syrup every day. It is very helpful. And it's really not that difficult to make on your own either. Oh, I was going to tell you too, as far as milk, if you like to drink milk, it honestly is best just to drink whole milk, because the carrageenan and what else did they put in? There's a couple of things that they put in, um, like 2% and things, in order to keep it homogenized. And what is it with skim that's in there? There's a couple of things that they put in that's actually not that good for your body. And some people are actually very sensitive to it. So, whole milk, I think, honestly, is the best. And, if you have, we have a lot of dairies around here, and once in a while I can get raw milk. And, you don't really want to advertise that, but, that is very good for you. Let's see. Oh, another thing, they are really pushing for us to eat bugs. I'm not going to eat the foods that my food eats. I just won't do it. Um, it creeps me out for one thing, but it's not that good for you. Those bugs can, who knows what toxins and things are actually in those bugs. I would try to avoid it. I was very disturbed when I just learned a couple of weeks ago that if you, my husband and I, we don't have a lot of money. We shop at Walmart, and I was looking, if you look at an older can of green beans, or like garbanzo beans, something like that. If you look at an older one, I looked for myself, and I compared one of the older ones that we have had here in storage, and I compared it to a new one. And I don't remember what it said on the label, but it was actually, you could see the difference in what was put in there with the vegetables, and it's actually crickets. It's bugs that they're adding to it, and it also boosts the amount of calories that are coming in them. So, you try to watch that. You want to try to avoid that. Who knows what is in those bugs? That really disturbs me. Let's see. Okay, as far as hydration, oh boy, really important. I don't think most of us don't drink enough water, And I was just listening to Andrew Huberman, his podcast. I was listening to that this morning before I went on, and he was talking with another scientist, and they were talking about hydration. And a good rule of thumb is just um, you want about half an ounce of water per pound of body weight. So you'll have to do a little math on that, but that's a good rule of thumb, just for your daily intake of water. Also, you can always tell how hydrated you are by the color of your urine. If it's a nice just light yellow, you're good. But if it's a nice dark color, yeah, you need some more water. But it's good to make sure that you're getting, the electrolytes that you need to, if you are exercising, working out in the sun, sweating it out, putting a little salt in your water is a very good idea. Um, let's see, another thing that is very good for your immune system: fresh air and sunlight. They used to, in the 1900s, the way they had the hospitals set up, they could push the patients' beds out onto like a terrace or something so they would have fresh air and sunshine. There's just something about it that is very important and very healing to your body. Get outside, get in the sun, and get some fresh air. Do a little bit of exercise. It's going to definitely help. You don't have to go running if you don't want to, but walking, for 20, 30 minutes every day, very helpful. Your body just works better when you move. Our bodies were made to move. They're made, to twist and move. And, here's my husband. There's a tendon in the body, right, that humans have that makes us runners.
Our necks.
In our necks, yeah. It's not in any other animal. We were actually.
It's in all running animals.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just in humans.
No,
but okay. Anyway.
That's what lets us run.
Okay. Yeah.
Pigs don't have it.
Pigs don't have it.
Chimpanzees don't have it.
I hope you can hear them. But yeah, I mean, we are meant to move. We're meant to twist and move and bend. And, humans used to have to work a lot harder for their food. And their bodies were built for that. And now that we're so sedentary now, it's creating a lot of problems. Joint problems, neck problems, back problems. We're meant to move. So please get outside, get some sunshine, get some fresh air. Really, really important. I also want to talk for a minute about, you want to take care of yourself, your complete self. And that means, your mental health, your spiritual health, your emotional health, and your physical health. And if one has a deficit in it, all of the others are affected. These are all interrelated. And so, it matters. As far as, your mental health, what are you taking in? What are you watching? What are you listening to? If you get garbage in, garbage out. It's really, really important. To make sure that the things that you are putting in here are positive. My sister-in-law lives down in Phoenix, and her mother lives in northern Utah, and she'll go frequently up there to visit her mom. And her mom has some of her kids are still living with them. They spend all day in front of the TV watching CNN. And they are severely depressed. And she really noted that the last time that she went to visit her mom, and she couldn't get them to just shut it off and go do something else. And, it does have a significant impact up here. As far as your emotional health, very important to have connections with other people, doing, journaling, writing. If you are, as addicts, there's something traumatic that has occurred that is, pushing you to want to mask that. And so it's important to get down to the bottom of it. And, shadow work and therapy, counseling, those are all really helpful. And, if it's at all possible, I really recommend it. And of course, we've talked a lot about your physical health, but your spiritual health, that's that can be a problem as well. It is really important that you have a spiritual connection to something bigger than yourself, whether it is God or whatever. It's really important, prayer and meditation and worship, all of these things. You need some sort of spiritual boost too. And like I said, all of these things are all interrelated. And if one, you have a deficit in one, it's going to affect all of the other ones. It's also, really, really important for your immune system to minimize stress as much as possible, because, stress really boosts your cortisol levels. And that really tamps down your immune system. Also a very good idea as addicts, that drinking or the drugs, whatever it is that you're putting in your body, depletes nutrients from your body, but is very hard on your liver and your kidneys. Very hard, because those are the organs that are trying to, get the toxins out of your body. And wow, I don't have much time left. Okay. But it's a very good idea to have a yearly physical, get your labs drawn, see what's going on with your body. Very important. You want to try to, if you've got kidney and liver damage, that's something you really need to get taken care of. Um, let's see, as far as sleep is so important, because your body does a lot of its detoxing during your sleep. That's when your body is rebuilding and repairing and healing. And it's so important, to your mental faculties, to your memory, to everything. You've got to have, it's recommended 7 to 9 hours of sleep. I never sleep that long. I never do. And I'm not getting sleep lately, but, ideally, 7 to 9 hours. And, so you want to practice some good sleep hygiene, as far as when it's time for bed, turning, getting off your screens an hour before and just reading a book, something like that. Some relaxing music, things like that are going to help you fall asleep better. And sleep is very difficult at first when you are trying to get drugs or alcohol, things out of your body. Sleep does not come easily at first. But make it a priority. Also, quitting smoking, if there are certain drugs or alcohol that you can take, and they're not an addiction issue, keep those to a minimum as well, because that's not going to help your immune system. um I wrote down here, goodness sakes, wash your hands. If you're out in public somewhere, you go home, wash your hands, wash them frequently. We pick up all kinds of things, and we touch our eyes and our nose and our mouth, and you can pick up so many things. So, wash your hands frequently. I know you got sick of hearing that during the pandemic, but there it is. It is still important. Also, this isn't a fun one. You need to poop. You need to poop every day. Seriously. Um, those of us like me who abused opiates, it's going to mess up your intestines and your peristalsis. It's going to mess things up. You've got to do something to mitigate that, because if that fecal matter sits in your intestines and it just sits there for day after day after day, the toxins that your body works so hard to get rid of, that are in that fecal matter, it's reabsorbed into your body, and very, very bad for you. And there's a book that I have been reading, by Dr. John Christopher. He was a naturopath and even an MD, everything. He knew what he was talking about. And he said that, 99% of all disease starts with constipation. So if you are having a problem with that, you need to do something to deal with it. You need to have a good poop every day. I know that sounds kind of ew, but it is so important. Things that can help with that, of course, exercise, large muscle contraction helps stimulate the smooth muscle into the peristalsis that moves these things, through your GI tract. Hot drinks tend to stimulate it. I know a lot of people have their coffee in the morning and then whoop, they got to go have their poop. Things like prunes, cherries, pineapple, very, very good. Just this little TMI, but I have to use senna. It's a stimulant laxative. It's a vegetable laxative. But I have to use that every day to get the results. And I like it because the other laxative that is always on the market, what is it? Bisocotyl, or is that, which one is it? No, Ducosate sodium. That one might get the job done, but then you're going to end up with a lot of painful gas afterwards. Senna tends to not do that. Also, magnesium. Magnesium is a very good one because you take a little bit extra magnesium. That magnesium pulls fluids into your intestines and helps you to eliminate things. So magnesium oxide especially is very good for that. Let's see. Also, I was just going to say, a lot of us are older, and the older you get, the greater need you have of protein. You tend to start to lose your muscle mass. And so, the extra protein as you're getting older and strength training to keep that muscle is really important. Also, let's see. As far as any of us here that are postmenopausal, we need to take care of our bones and calcium, but not just what is it I'm trying to say, guys? I use a plant calcium because it's bioavailable. It's easier for my body to take it in and get it where it needs to go. And it tends to be expensive, the one that I use, because it's been fermented, but it's from plants, and it's highly bioavailable. And between that type of calcium and the running that I do, that pounding, that constant pounding on your bones helps retain the calcium in your body. So if you are a woman postmenopausal, calcium and exercise and D3, really important to keep that bone density, because you don't want to get those brittle bones, fall down and break your hip. That's miserable. I've taken care of a lot of patients where that happened. Please take care of yourself. If you are taking care of your health and you're keeping your immune system up, you are going to feel better. It's going to be easier to deal with maintaining your sobriety and dealing with whatever happened to you in your past. When you feel better, you look better. It's just better all around. It's much easier to stay sober. Hope. Let's see what. I'm sorry. I wish I knew where all of my notes were from the class that I teach, but anyway, the hour is up, guys. So, and I am really tired. I'm not going to look through the chat today. I need to go sleep, but hope you guys are doing well. If you're struggling, please reach out to somebody. Please make sure you've got that list of 5 that you can contact. And what else was I going to say? I apologize, guys. I'm struggling today. But I hope that was some good information for you. Please, if you have questions, more than happy to help. You can contact me at, I didn't put it in the description today, but it is still running 50, as in 50, still running 50 at outlook.com. That's my email. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. Just remember, you are strong enough to handle this. You can do this. You've got this. Do not let your mind convince you that you don't have what it takes, because you do. I promise you. Hey, I love you guys. Hang in there. Let's talk to you again soon.